I'm a huge believer in cross-training your staff to not only have a backup plan in case someone calls out and can't make it, but more importantly, to develop talent within your organization. Lots of restaurants think of that as extra labor or a cost. I always thought it was an investment. It's bailed me out so many times, but really it's a way you recognize talent. You recognize people that want to take initiative and move up in your company. And it is a great idea. My guests today, Jamie and Leo, run 4 really different concepts in the hot Atlanta restaurant scene. They've got a French concept, a New Orleans concept, an Italian concept, and a pizzeria concept. Well, it's all about best practices today. It's mentoring and shadowing. It's labor challenges. It's the key financials that you really need to look at every single week. It's really how to run a super strong restaurant and restaurant group. You're not going to want to miss it. If you like what you're hearing, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast player. It'll help other professionals, hospitality operators, and people just like you find us, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Now, on with the episode.
You're tuned in to the Restaurant Rockstars Podcast. Powerful ideas to rock your restaurant. Here's your host, Roger Bodwin.
Listen, your restaurant wants more business. Birthdays bring more business. Not just more guests, but 40% higher check averages. Best of all, more birthdays happen Sunday through Thursday when you want more business. You can get an all-done-for-you service that sends you all the birthday business. Don't lose birthdays to the competition. Go to jointhebirthdayclub.com/birthdayrockstar. It's a piece of cake. Welcome back to the Restaurant Rockstars Podcast. So glad you're with us today. Jamie, Leo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. We're doing great. How are you, Roger?
Fantastic. So glad you're here. Now, you guys have 40 years of experience in this business. You've been around the block. So we're going to talk about all kinds of operational issues that'll help our operators improve their businesses. But first, let's start with a crazy restaurant story. We all have them. Something you can't believe happened and it just shook things up for a minute and now you can laugh about it. Do you have any of those?
I think I have just the story. Years ago at our old place, Veni Vici, we were part of the big restaurant group. There was a woman in the dining room and she was literally in the center of the dining room. And she was eating one of the shrimp appetizer dishes that we had. She had a couple of bites and then she cut into one of them. There was a tiny little bit of translucent shrimp. And she stood up and at the top of her voice, she screamed, "They have killed my baby."
What? That's crazy.
And then our manager got with her. They took her downstairs. She was a little bit unhinged, but it freaked out and it made everybody a little weird for a minute, but then things settled back down and they went back through their meal.
Can't imagine what triggered that and why, what she was thinking. What's really? Oh my God. But it got everyone's attention for sure. And then when that settled down, sometimes when something unusual, like when a whole bunch of plates drop, the whole place erupts in applause. Anything like that happen?
Oh, that's happened. That's happened. And we try to encourage our servers not to clap when they break a glass, or a plate. Guests drop stuff and that's fun and everybody claps. That's funny.
I have a very funny
Please.
story.
Yeah,
When I
share.
started the business, I was working for this French restaurant and a very rude waiter I was. And I started piling up a bunch of plates on a corner of a table, the true top. And you know how that ended up? Not very well. Everything just was like a tower and leaning like slowly and nothing I could do and just fresh. I think I broke at least 24 plates out of that.
Oh my.
I'm not very happy with me.
Oh my God. And they didn't fire you.
He couldn't because he didn't have enough staff.
Oh, it was one of those situations. I'm sure that got a round of applause for sure. And the show must go on, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It must.
So you have 5 very different thriving concepts. What would you say the key components are to a successful restaurant and then growing that successful restaurant? What has been most important to your success?
I'll start with our very first restaurant, which is Il Giallo. That's what we started almost 10 years ago now. And my experience is I lived in Italy for a good while, working in restaurants, almost 5 years. And I went to work for this big company in the Italian restaurant and things got to where we were ready to open our own. Our boss owner was really supportive of us. He said, "What's your concept?" And we're like, "It's an Italian restaurant. It's Italian." He goes, "That's not a concept, son." And oh my God, the guy's smart as can be. He's giving us help. but I just don't know what in the world he's talking about.
Right.
So one night in the restaurant, a lady ordered one of the pastas that was the special from the night before. And I didn't have any of it. It was a butternut squash ravioli. And all I had was one butternut squash that was raw. And so I said, dang, I'm going to make this ravioli for her. So I peeled it, diced it up, put it in the fryer, patted it dry, mixed some cheese. I had some pasta rolled out, and I was able to get her tortelli in about 15 minutes. And then that's when the light clicked on. We're going to make the pasta on a big table in the middle of the dining room.
Ooh, I like that. That's a hook.
Yeah. So that was, and then we went and told Pano, and he just giggled and goes, now you got a concept, son. And so that was the hook. It was an Italian restaurant, obviously. The departure was the making the pasta in front of everybody.
And no one else was doing that at the time. That's unusual, right? That takes show kitchen to the next level when you're doing that kind of detail in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
It's a difficult thing to do because you got to have someone that really knows what they're doing, and they got to be putting up the show, and people come up, they'll ask you questions, and you got to be able to answer them.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. We love the concept. Go on.
What other things have led to your success? Let's talk about systems that are really important in your restaurants.
I think having a great POS system starts right there. I think you need to have one. The thing about systems is that you got to be careful about what you get yourself in, and also not to settle for everything from one provider. I think it's a very important thing. I think the other systems that you got to have is you got to have your manuals, you got to have your handbooks and all those things, and they got to be compliant with a lot of things, because we just think of, we'll just copy and paste from somebody else. That sounds all good. But the thing is, also you got to take in consideration your insurance. And some stuff that you put in your manual is actually also to make sure that your insurance is okay with what you're doing. For instance, when you're serving beverage, liquor, at least here in Georgia, you need to have some kind of a training. And
It's not required by law.
yeah, and you got to present that on your manual. So otherwise your insurance goes. So those are some of the little systems that a lot of people don't think about it, but you got to have in place.
Let's go a little deeper on the training. How extensive is your training, and how do you onboard and train your team to deliver great experiences, but also to up-level the operation and make it stand out from the competition? Or everything.
Yeah, front of the house wise, we go through a process where there are set days that they are doing certain things. And what you're really doing is cross-training them in different spots, right? So they may start at the door, so they know how to take a reservation and how to answer the phone. And from there, they're running food so they can see the food before they're put as with another server, so they can start matching food with the menu.
Excellent.
And then on the third day, you mix it all. Start at the door, move on to runner position, and then do some of the service assistant job. So this way they understand all of that. And by the time they get to follow a server, they understand the process. And if any of those processes fail at any point, they're able to fill it in, that gap. Those are very important. Manager-wise, it's almost the same process. A lot of people think that a manager just take them in there and just put them in there and that's it. I remember talking about the first story that you were talking about, Mini Beach, which was our first restaurant. We managers needed to work, at least for my mentor, which was Mimi Kogan. She would make you go through the process by serving, bartending, essaying as a manager, runner, all that process you needed to go through. So this really understood the operation.
Totally agree with that.
And it's in their entirety. And she's not humiliating you, because a lot of people take that as oh my God, why would I do this? I've proven myself. Now, what you're learning is all the details where things are hidden that whenever you come out, you can really do well, because now you understand the entire process. So 2 different takes and 2 different training.
Yeah, I wish more operators felt that way. A lot of operators would think, oh, cross-training, that's more labor, that's a cost. I always thought of it as an investment. And I think you mentioned it's also a backup plan when you've got versatile people that when someone calls out or can't make it, it's like you got people that can jump in a pinch and save the show. But most importantly, they're learning. They're learning different parts of the restaurant, different positions, and it grooms them really to move up. And it's really important for leaders to understand every position in your restaurant as well, just to deliver an amazing experience, and to have mentoring and shadowing in place too, which I've also heard. So that sounds like a solid philosophy for sure. Terrific. So
Other thing is hard, manage easy, and then that is the opposite of that. So we go for the higher hard and then manage easy versus the opposite of that, which would be you manage hard, but you're letting people do whatever the heck they want. So
these days also, we ask less often of the potential servers, what is your wine knowledge? What is your food knowledge? All of those details that are in the restaurant are obviously important, but there are people out there that simply can remember all of that stuff, but they simply cannot connect with the guest. So we're looking for more personality driven individuals that can acquire that information rather than taking an experienced server that already knows everything and just cannot change whatsoever. That being able to connect with a table, walking up to a table, an 8-top, and having the chutzpah to be able to entertain them. Not everybody can do that. The smartest guy in the world might not be able to do that, or gal, but it's more of a personality profile than an experience profile, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I've always believed you can train for experience, but you can't shape someone's personality. And they are either really engaging and they're making friends with guests, or they got all the experience in the world, but they got bad habits and they're doing things their way and they're not delivering amazing experiences. So I totally agree with what you said there. And again, everyone has a unique personality and guests really respond to that if they're personable and engaging and interactive, but knowledgeable. They have to know your menus. They have to know your business. And I've always hated it when I go to a restaurant and I have a question and the person just hasn't been trained well, or they just don't know. And you hear, oh, let me go ask my manager. I don't know. So then it's like you want them to be so knowledgeable that they're a seamless part of the experience. And it sounds like you've got that part nailed. That's great.
We spend a lot of time on that. Yeah.
Are you having any labor challenges? There's still a lot of restaurants in this country that are just short-staffed and they just can't seem to find good people and keep them. Retention is a huge thing. And finding the best people first is so important. What's your experience been?
My take on that is it's a two-pronged issue. One, I think because of the way the government stepped in when the pandemic happened.
Yes.
They put out so much money that people start making money that was unreasonable in this business.
I remember. Yes.
But now they expect to make the same money even though the pandemic's over. And that is a lot of push for very different, and I call it political views of like, we got to make the minimum wage this much, or we got to do this, we got to get away with tips, or we got to keep tips. So it's a very complicated process, and that's what makes it difficult. I also think, and on the other side is that I think a lot of operators are just hiring people to fill in a position versus really taking the time. I told all my managers, you guys got to take your time to not hire the first person that comes through the door, because they may be great people to interview, but once they start, you can see within 2-3 days that they, like Jamie was saying, they cannot connect. So it is very important that they take the time. I think slowing down a little bit on the process of hiring is extremely important. So those are my two takes that I see.
The other side of it is that our industry people are not as attracted to our industry as they once were.
That's true.
The American kids, boys and girls, we can't get them in the back of the house to save our lives, with a few exceptions here and there. And server wise, there's not as many going into that genre anymore. And so we're getting a lot of younger people, which is great because they can get molded and they can get trained, but it's definitely a bigger challenge now than even during the pandemic.
And you're in a competitive restaurant town as well. And there's a lot of restaurants out there all fighting for the limited pool of qualified people that are going to deliver great experiences. So yeah, that's one of the biggest issues. Anything that you've done to get creative to find those people and retain them? Recognition, rewards, build morale, company culture, any of those things?
We have worked extensively on our menus and also training on selling as well.
Excellent.
So what I tell people is that if you think small and you think, oh, the coffee is only whatever, $3.75 per coffee or whatever, and you're not achieving that sale, you're also not achieving the sales on other things. And therefore you got to be really open to that. And that's how you're going to make your money. You don't just make money because you go there and you take a course.
Show up. Yeah.
Yeah. Order takers are just that. And that's why people don't understand that. When I tell people you want $1,000 and they say, yeah, I said, so here, how you achieve $1,000 is by selling stuff and offering. Sometimes you're in a mood for something, but until somebody tells you, hey, what about if you do an amaro after, and they're like, you know what? I've been thinking about that. And since you offer that, I would like some. And I think that is where people don't understand that selling is very important, or the taking it easy. A kiosk then can do. Selling is what human do.
It's all about the experience also. I travel quite a bit, and I say this frequently on the podcast, but I do come across a lot of different restaurants, breakfast, lunch, dinner, different price points, doesn't matter. People have friendly personalities, but they got the pad and pen or they commit it to memory. And to me, that's always been an ordinary experience. They're not taking me on this special journey of everything that's unique and special and different about the place. And that's what sets a great front of house person apart. Someone that really makes you feel like you're part of the experience and that maybe even you're a first time visitor, but you're also treated like you're a regular. And that's all part of it. But you're right. It's service, but it's also salesmanship. And that takes training. So you train your people to do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day, service lineups with the servers.
Yep. How's with that?
Specials, talking about anything that might be, if we're 86 something, which has not happened very much, but they just get, and we also want to have everybody aware of who's coming in. Their special needs might be like we've got so many old customers from our Buckhead Life years to today. We know a lot of details about what they want and where they want us to sit and all that kind of stuff. We cover all that stuff every single day.
So even if someone has never served that guest before, you give them the inside scoop on who they are as if they've known them, and you treat them like an old friend. And that is so appreciated and recognized by guests. Yeah. I absolutely
Cross training in a way.
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
That's one thing that I'd like to add is that I think the word hospitality, everybody uses very loosely, number one. But what they forget is that with hospitality, you need to also provide an experience. And that's what you just touched on it. I think experience right now is a huge thing. And in order for you to provide experience, you gotta bring that person in. It's not just when they walk in and they see the place, they're like, oh, I'm being transported somewhere else. Now they need the staff to continue that process of walking them through and making them feel part of the family and welcome them in and make them part of the experience. So experience is, I think, is the next level to hospitality.
Now you've got these 4 concepts. Do you ever rotate team members among the restaurants, either on a short moment's notice or even for a limited period of time because the need is there and they get to know the different concepts, but they still have the basic skill set that makes it work?
Yes, but not intentionally.
Okay. Yeah.
Not always.
Yeah. Sometimes because we need to, or somebody's on vacation, got to move somebody in. It's something that we are working on doing it. So this way also they can explore, they can see what another operation and how it's operating.
And when we opened up our second concept, which is the sort of New Orleans inspired place, we took some people out of Jalo and they were getting up there in levels of experience that we needed there. And then there's been a lot of back and forth throughout the years. When we need a manager somewhere, we need a chef somewhere, we're always trying to pluck them out of one of the other stores that we know that they're going to know how we operate and what we expect. And then we also have a couple of people at the Italian place that go help out every now and then up at the French place up in north of the city. We do a lot of that, actually. It's not every single day, but it's always a tool there for if somebody's sick or on vacation or something like that. It's good to have people that are willing to fill in and learn some new stuff.
Yeah, it's not only a benefit, but perhaps it's a way to move people up into management positions also. You recognize someone and suddenly someone doesn't work out somewhere else. Hey, guess what? You're now the manager.
We have one guy that he can look in the store and he knows all of them.
Hang on to that person.
He's a great guy and he's doing great.
Awesome.
Our Liontonet store.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Is there any company-wide team building, morale type things that happen, recognition rewards programs, either individually at the different locations or as a team?
The only thing that we have done, like, it was getting them to understand the whole reviewing process and telling them, hey, listen, guys, if you guys get so many reviews, we're going to reward you with cash, right? We've done that.
Oh, good.
And that works well. People get very incentivized by cash. Yeah, I think that was one thing that we've done it at Lagar and Jalo and Liontonet, and it worked really well. That's one thing that we've done it. Now, I cannot think of anything beyond that. Can you?
Not really. We understand how vital every single person is in every single restaurant. And it's not always the big programmed kind of things going on, but it's recognizing people for the job that they do. And that's big. Thank you and hello and chat goes a long way with everybody. I talk to everybody every day when I'm in the store. When you have to work on somebody for something that they're maybe not doing right, it's got to be more like a gentle coaxing. When somebody told me once, you catch a lot more, what is it?
Flies with honey or sugar. Yeah.
I can think of another
Yeah.
situation, which I don't speak about it because I think it's very personal in a way, which is sometimes things happen in life. And you got to be able to sometimes open your wallet and help someone that is going through some kind of trouble.
Yeah.
So that's to me is a bigger deal than rewarding people just based on whatever. So those are a few situations that has happened. I don't think about them. We just did them, Jamie and I, and we keep as that. But that to me is the biggest reward is if you're working with us, we're going to take care of you.
I don't mean to speak for you, but it also sounds like you encourage your team members to come up with ideas that might improve your business, or if they see something, they can bring it to your attention. And if it's a great idea, you'll give it a shot. That's being opportunistic, and you never know. I've always believed that people in the trenches doing a job will see things, but they're either not paid enough to care or they're not encouraged to bring things up, and they'll just keep doing the same thing over and over again. But they might have an idea that might make things better, and their voice matters, their opinion counts, and they feel special if you care about their opinion.
Right.
And it doesn't always work out, but I've found that more often than not, it does.
We had a situation recently, Antoinette.
Yeah.
So we're doing a promotion there that is $49 for ribeye, fries. It starts with bread and salad.
Limited.
Unlimited.
Okay.
And it was
quite a meal.
That idea, and that idea came actually from one of our managers at Lagarde. And he lived in Italy for a long time, but he said when he was traveling to France, there was a restaurant there that did that kind of thing. But the only thing they did was steak and fries. And I said, we're going to do it. Let's try it out something. And to your point, it works.
It worked like crazy.
It works.
I see lots of value in that. And there's breakage too, because someone's got bigger eyes than their stomach. And that sounds great, but I can't eat more than, but I'm sure you get some people that can put away some food, but more often than not, it's a value, and it's a high perceived value, really. Okay.
Eat more than you think.
Yeah.
But very few in between.
Yeah, most people
Yeah.
that get it will just get what we call a reload, and it's one and done. And then there's the people that'll get two or three, but that's a much lower percentage of their reload. That pretty well.
There's marketing involved there. That could be part of the marketing budget. It's a hook. It draws people in, and you can assign some of that food cost to marketing. But good. How about social media strategy? What do you do?
You can answer that.
Push emails. We have a pretty big email list. We create emails. We try to create a lot of classes and events. So this way we are always engaged, and then we get in with our PR firm, and they help us out put this word out, because it's a lot. When you have a certain amount of restaurants, it's a lot of work. And especially when it comes down to the marketing part of it, because now you have 3 different concepts, or 4 different concepts, and you got to cater to each one of those clients. The Italian is much more upscale. So is the French. The pizza and the New Orleans is much more, it's a casual setting. So it is a totally different vibe. So you got to work with that. That is a lot of work that goes into social media.
What platforms work the best for you? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it all those things? Are you on the YouTube channel? Like what really performs?
So Facebook is great, but that is a certain age. And TikTok and Instagram is another ballgame.
Very definitely.
I got to say that TikTok surprised me big time. Is one that I had no faith at all. I got to be totally honest, is one that brings the most.
Fantastic. I was thinking you were going to say that. It all started with my daughters years ago, and these short little videos, and they're obsessed with it. And I really didn't understand it back then. I just let them do their thing. And now it's really captured a much broader audience and a range of age groups too. I'm glad you mentioned that.
I'm sure there's another app coming through.
There always will be.
And we got to be hopping quickly.
So do you yourself, you create videos within the restaurant? Like what do you provide for posts generally?
So we create some videos between me and him, me.
Okay.
What we encourage is influencers to come in and experience the restaurant. And that helps to spread the word. So those are the kind of things that we do.
I love influencing.
Like we should do more videos, and it just
Yeah, it's time and bandwidth.
Yeah.
But once you hit on something that really works, you want to 5X it and keep going and say, wow, this is really working. I got to find more time to do this because it's really moving the needle.
That's what I've been doing for the last week, is organizing our calendar from now all the way to 6 months of the end of the year. So
any collaboration B2B with other businesses that might drive business to you or collaborate in a certain way that's a benefit?
I think our biggest, I'm sorry, maybe you could speak better on this, but one of the things that we do a lot of dinners,
wine dinners, and then there's the charity side of things. For years and years, there's myself and probably 10 other chefs of kind of my age. We would do a dinner once a month with 5 different chefs. And so that was a big amount of outreach to people. And it was great. It's run its course a little bit, and everybody's got too much time to do that now. So we do those things in the restaurant now. So if it's a charity coming to us, we'll do that. We'll promote it. We'll take some pictures of it and get it out. But it's always a moving target.
Of course. Let's switch gears and talk about finances. Who's the finance guy?
This guy.
All right. So what are the key performance indicators? What are you tracking and what are you really trying to achieve week to week with your numbers to keep your bottom line healthy and your numbers in line?
So one thing that I learned very recently, I wish I have learned this a long time ago, is that you need to track your stuff weekly. You need to do an inventory weekly.
Absolutely.
And the way you do that, all you got to do is take your invoice that it came in and you'll break it down, have an Excel spreadsheet, and then plug in your sales. And that's going to tell you roughly where you are. Much more than all the other exercise. I think the more I look at it, I view inventory in a very different way that I used to before. I think that's a big snapshot that you have right there of what's happening. And if something is moving, is going away, somebody's taking something, you will see it because those sales are not going to be, your purchases
reflect the sale. Yeah.
Like you can tell roughly your food costs. You can tell your beverage costs just by doing that weekly. You can tell about your linen, how much you're spending on it. You can tell about your labor, if it's going up or down, all of that within a week. And you cannot wait for your accountant. That's what I have. You got to be your own accountant when it comes down to that. And it's very simple. It doesn't take a whole lot of lines. It's just an Excel. Today's day, ChatGPT can make one of those things for you. That's how
it's great advice because you have a feel for your numbers. You got a feel for your restaurant. You watch every penny come in, you know every penny that's going out, and you can tell when there's a spike. Something doesn't feel quite right. You see something that jumps out at you. But if you're not watching, it's 30 days goes by. Gee, what happened? What happened? What happened? I got a waste, a theft, a spoilage problem. It's like all kinds of stuff happens. There's so many ways to lose money in this business if you're not paying attention.
Walk through your restaurants, walk through, open your coolers, walk through, just take a look at what's happening there. We'll give you also a pretty good feel of spoilage wise. If something is going south is because they're not paying attention or they have hidden in the corner of a cooler or whatever. So
yeah,
I'll walk through your restaurant.
How about menu costing? Is that happening regularly?
Yeah. So it's funny because I was listening to one of the podcasts and the guy did the same thing that I did in one of your interviews that you made. And I can't remember his name, but I thought it was interesting that we did the same exact thing, thinking that would help when the whole inflation was going up. We held back on the prices, think that things would change, and it didn't. So now we're much more, because of that system that I was just telling you about it, it's easier for us to see when something may be going up, it also will show up, because if you break it down, like, that doesn't make sense. I sold this much meat, and now when I put it in the spreadsheet, it's the cost is up. So something has gone up. Yeah. Menu pricing is extremely important. And we're in the restaurant business.
No question about it.
Put it all together. You've got to look at what you've got in the restaurant all the time. You've got to look at all the invoices and what's being sold. And then you got to look at it each week, and you're not having to do these gigantic projects all the time. At the end of the month, we're doing inventory, blah, blah, blah. It's paying attention every day is what matters a lot more than what happens at the end of the month.
And then 15 days after, the accountant comes back with your numbers. It's too late.
Yeah.
It's 45 days.
It's too late. Yeah.
It's too late.
I'm hearing that you're working on your business, not in the business. And these systems are literally what enable you to empower your team to help you run your business. And I hope you're enjoying it. It sounds like you're enjoying your business. You got 4 very diverse restaurants, different concepts. Are you traveling? Do you spend much time bouncing around, secret shopping, seeing what's going on in the different concepts?
We're on the restaurants all the time, all of them. And I think that's extremely important.
You have to be.
I try. I'm not very good at it, and I'm not going to pretend that I am. Which set meetings every week with the top guys to go through, see what their thoughts are. Anything changed? Do we need to make a menu change? Prices? You guys taking a look at it? Because it's not just about you or us taking a look at the pricing. They got to be looking at that as well. So that is, and then sometimes on those meetings is when you get some great ideas that comes out of those guys. So you got to be present, and that's the bottom line.
Jamie, Leo, thank you so much for sharing your best practices today on the show. We really appreciate you being here. And a lot of great nuggets of information came out of this.
Thank you, Roger. We truly appreciate the invitation, and we're glad to be here.
All the best to you of success, of course. That was the Restaurant Rockstars Podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors this week. Can't wait to see you all next time, so stay tuned and stay well. And that is a wrap.
People go to restaurants for lots of reasons. For fun, celebration, for family, for lifestyle. What the customer doesn't know is the thousands of details it takes to run a great restaurant. This is a high-risk, high-fail business. It's hard to find great staff. Costs are rising and profits are disappearing. It's a treacherous road, and smart operators need a professional guide. I'm Roger. I've started many highly successful, high-profit restaurants that I'm passionate about helping other owners and managers not just succeed, but knock it out of the park. I created a game-changing system, and it's filled with everything I've learned in over 20 years running super profitable, super fun restaurants. Everything from creating high-profit menu items and cost controls to staff training where your teams serve and sell, to marketing hooks, money-maximizing tips, and efficiencies across your operation. What does this mean to you? More money to invest in your restaurant, to hire a management team, time freedom, and peace of mind. You don't just want to run a restaurant. You want to dominate your competition and create a lasting legacy. Join the Academy, and I'll show you how it's done.
Thanks for listening to the Restaurant Rockstars Podcast. For lots of great resources, head over to restaurantrockstars.com. See you next time.